So I've advised 50 plus failed renovation business owners, and this is exactly what I found. So, to give you some context, I'm Nathan, the founder of Noctis Digital. We mainly work with businesses around the $1 million mark all the way to the 8 figure per year turnover mark. So, I get guys that come to me that are failing, about to go under, treading water, so it's been okay, succeeding, or some that are, just doing really, really well, but they're wanting to scale tenfold and go even higher. So what I found was really, really fascinating. Between the ones that have succeeded and the ones that are failing, I found recurring patterns that I saw between these two groups of businesses. And for context, the difference was not their skills on the tools or the number of years experience in the industry. I had guys 2 years in as a business owner making exactly 15 times more than guys who were 30 years in. I had guys that were 7 years in about to hit 10 mil per year turnover and guys that are about 25 years in, just about to go under. So the difference was not their years of experience, but rather the systems that they had built for their business and their mindset to making business decisions. Ultimately, your business is a vehicle, and what inputs and what decisions you make control the output of the business. So these were my key lessons that I learned. Number one, they understood the ever-changing digital mindset. So instead of shelling up and being scared, they instead embraced it. So what I mean by that is now there's AI, there's marketing, there's this, there's that, there's this sales process, there's this, and just basically a lot of complexity. And to give you the understanding, before the internet age, customers were limited to referrals when they were choosing who to go with. But now, in about 5 seconds on Google, they can find 50 options. So then the question that I have for all of these business owners is, are you differentiating yourselves truly? Are you actually doing it? It's not, I have the best quality in the world. Yeah, everyone else says that, right? So ultimately, before, in the old age, call it that, customers were only limited, to referrals who they knew and the people around in that local area. Now they can access everyone. So, is this the way? So you kind of have to think to yourself, is this the way forward? Or had people moved to more online methods like social media where you could reach, let's say, 10,000 people with a few $100s, right? Are you still using the old age or are you embracing the new age? And right now, there's a trust recession. People have too many options, people are doing lots of research, and people don't like to be scammed, obviously, duh. So how are you building trust, credibility, and authority, right? Because this digital age moves so fast that just having a website and making social media posts is just obsolete, right? We've gone past that. So is there specific intention behind every bit of text, color, design on your website to make customers perceive you a certain way, right? Is there intention behind what you post, when you post, and how you post to make customers perceive you a different way as well? And ultimately, if you aren't adapting, then you'll fall behind into obscurity, no matter how good your services are or how experienced you are. So for example, let's say you genuinely believe it, a lot of people believe that you provide the best services in the market. But who's going to pay you for your expertise if they don't even know you exist? Right, that's a marketing problem. Or let's say you provide the best customer service for your customers. How can you show off your customer service and to show how good your communication is, how you treat them, if you can't even close a sale in the first place for the prospect to become a customer? So there are things that you don't understand, as the world and as the digital age evolves, like every business owner, right? But maybe it is technology, online marketing, or this new, called online world. So there are two perspectives that I've seen, right? The successful business owner. Since I don't understand this, it must be new, and I see an opportunity to jump towards it, right? I want to learn more about it and take a bet. When everyone turns a blind eye to this, I go fast and I take up everything and I take market share and I get ahead. Whereas a low-level business owner, they go, since I don't understand it, it must be bad and it's not worth my time. It's too complex, I'll leave it for later. Bracket, so FYI, they'll never get back to it, right? So the ugly truth is many business owners have an ego of some sort and they kind of say to themselves, I've been in this industry for 3 decades, longer than you internet kids or these young guys have been alive. So why should I listen to you? Why should I follow them? I know I just have the best services. How would you know? More than me, right? I've got 30 years experience. But the ugly truth is that these internet kids adapt. And unfortunately, if the older generation do not adapt, they'll fall into obscurity, right? For example, there are 17-year-olds now making 150k USD per month, or around 3 mil AUD per year profit. And I actually interviewed one of these personally. And what I found was the reason that this guy was able to be so successful was because he adapts and he moves faster and he takes bigger risks. So number two, so this first factor was just adapting, right? The second factor is they move with speed despite uncertainty, risk, and fear. So the most successful business owners move with speed, right? They understand the cost of inaction. So it's not just the cost of action, like, if I do this, it's going to cost me $50. But what if I don't do it, right? How much would it cost me compared to if I did it successfully? So let's say you want to make $1 million a year and you currently make $50,000 a year, obviously theoretical. Every single year you aren't able to make $1 million a year, you're actually theoretically losing money in $950,000 a year if you picked yourself up and took action, right? So spending excessive time, a lot of people, they say, thinking about it in the eyes of top business owners is losing you money, right? Because you're delaying yourself to make a decision and you're losing it in opportunity costs. Because ultimately, all humans hate change, all humans have fear, but the difference between top business owners and the ones that fall into obscurity is this. The top ones run towards fear and uncertainty because all positive change comes from that, right? Nothing good in life comes easy. You've probably heard of that, right? They understand that there are no guarantees in life except only for death and taxes. Because we all know, like an example that I use is this, right? We all know the weather app on your phone is never 100% correct. So if you wanted to go to the beach and if you said to yourself, you would only go to the beach if there was a 100% guarantee that the weather would be perfect from the weather app, would you ever go? Right? Because the weather app never says the 100% certainty. So if you're only looking for 100% certainty to go to the beach and you look at the app every single time, guess what? You're never ever going to go to the beach. So why would you apply to the same process to your business decision making when you're looking for certainty? So what I've seen successful businesses do is they face the uncertainty, the risk, and then they just go. Right? I've seen some older business owners, 30 years in, they have the experience, they see something new, they know it's the right move, but they don't grasp it yet, right? But they face the uncertainty, they face the risk, and then they just go. So there's a famous saying is to take a step forward, you must take a step backwards first, right? To get fitter, you must endure the pain in the gym. To get more leads, you must invest in marketing. To close more sales, you must invest time and resources in learning sales. So you move fast, then you adjust. So the same inputs you're doing now is resulting you in where you're at now, right? Same inputs equals the same outputs. If you keep doing the same inputs, then you will stay where you are at no matter what. So that is the same with decision making, right? The same amount of fear, which is normal for humans, right? The same amount of speed. So you really, really want to control that. For example, if you never lift a weight, you can't expect, to get bigger muscles. So if you truly want change, then you need to understand and you need to change your inputs, which means changing your perspective on fear, risk, and uncertainty. So run towards risk and uncertainty, see it as an opportunity. You should move fast than adjust. Because if what I was doing, if whatever, the thing you're doing was so easy, then everyone would have done it, right? Because everyone feels the same fear as me. So the difference I take is action. That's the thinking you should have, right? And instead of thinking, what if I fail? You say to yourself, hey, what if I succeed? So these are the thinkings and this points of perspectives that I see from successful business owners. Because it's all about perspective and mindset. Successful ones see risk, uncertainty, and fear as the seed for growth, and failures see it as, a negative point of view. And that's why they never change. Because they're waiting for the guarantee, the perfect moment, or they're straight up procrastinating, not knowing the cost of inaction. Or they do the same old inputs that keeps them where they're at, but then expect the same inputs to get different results, which is obviously impossible, right? Ultimately, it's all in the head. So the successful business owners, they step up, they rewire themselves, and they take massive action in the face of fear, uncertainty, and risk. They actually lean towards it. And they see all of that, just to rewind, as positive, and they take massive action fast. Not inaction, obviously. Because it's all good and fun changing your perspective, saying, yeah, I see it as, a positive. but execution takes the most amount of courage and actual brilliance. Right? When someone says it's too hard or risky and they do it, that's why they stand out and become extraordinary. Right? Because extraordinary inputs require inputs require and result in extraordinary results. Right? For example, the result is them making more money, having more success than the average business owner. You can use examples like Elon Musk, right? He did a huge bet on electric cars, and now he's got Tesla. So there are two types of business owners as an example, right? I see the low-level business owners, so they're still they still make good money, right? So a good perspective I see is this. I tried this marketing agency to do ads, it failed, therefore ads do not work, right? Then you compare that to a successful business owner, they go, okay, I tried this marketing agency, a marketing company to do ads, it failed, so therefore I need to understand what the issue was and try again. Because I am a committed business owner to myself and I do not give up. So they think to themselves, okay, Facebook is a multi-billion-dollar company. If their ads did not work, then how could they be worth so much, right? It can't just work for everyone except for you. Like Facebook doesn't hate you, right? So then they go, okay, I see my competitors that are running ads for months and years and selling to 8 figures. How could that work if they're using the same platform as me, right? So then you're thinking to yourself, okay, so if the platform and ads are not the issue, then what could the issue be, right? Is it the marketing company? Like, why did I choose the marketing company, right? Could my decision-making process be off when choosing marketing companies? Let me find out why that is the problem and potentially find a better one. Or even they go and think to themselves, okay, am I doing my best to close the sale, right? Is my sales process dialed in? Like, let me have my sales process analyzed by a pro to see if they could diagnose the problem. So it could be, it's not a marketing problem, it's a sales problem, right? So successful business owners, they see the problem, so they get the problem, they solve it, they stay committed, and they have an open mindset and they take full responsibility for actions, even though it might not feel like it's their responsibility. So low-level business owners, they blame it on someone else, something else, and they give up. So an example I see that I like to give to my clients is this, right? Is you've probably been on a few dates in your life, right? And I'm sure not all of them went well, or not all of them went to 100% as expected. So did you give up on love after the first date? And ultimately, no. So then why would you take the same approach to business? Or why would you take the same approach to fitness? This personal trainer fucked me over. Or does that mean going to the gym is not a good thing? So a big question that I get is, how can I copy the traits of these successful business owners? So obviously rewatch the video if you have to, but to summarize it, it's embrace new things you don't know, or risk getting left behind, right? And adapt in this new internet world or fall into obscurity, right? See risk, uncertainty, and fear as a positive, because nothing worthwhile comes easy. Otherwise, everyone would have done it and, wouldn't be worthwhile at all. And understand the cost of inaction and the cost of waiting for the right moment. Because waiting for the right moment is actually losing you money, if you think about it. Understand there are no guarantees and 100% certainty in life, and all you can do is take massive action, right? Take massive action fast, despite fear, and then find out, right? What if I fail? Okay, what if you succeed? So take responsibility, and when things go wrong, don't wrap it all up and blame something else or someone else. Dig deep, be in detective mode, and find a solution. Just be committed, right? And ultimately, above all, move fast and iterate. You can't predict the future. Right? What if I fail? No. What if you succeed? Every step forward needs a step back first. So you have to understand, same inputs equals same results, different inputs equals different results. You understand that. So you don't want to stay in the same position. And all of these business owners that have been around for 30 years, they ask me, why am I not growing? Well, you've done the same thing for 30 years in a row. There's a reason you haven't grown, right? So ultimately, after interacting with a lot of these business owners that have succeeded, I've come to my own conclusion. You don't have to, take this if you don't agree. Is you don't know what's on the other side of decisions. Like everything you do in life, you don't know what's going to happen as a result of that, right? You never do, right? For example, the beach analogy, or this or that, just everything. The best thing you can do, right, to any business decision is understand it. So get a grasp of it, do a mini, call it analysis, and then just move towards it, right? And then iterate if necessary. Because you can't iterate and you can't improve if you don't move in the first place, right? People go, okay, once you fail equals learning experience and you get better. Well, if you don't take action to be able to fail in the first place, then you can't do anything, right? So the worst thing is years later, or once the opportunity passes, for example, for any business opportunity, you realize that only if you had a different mindset and approach to certain things, you would have succeeded and done it, right? So you always want to just remove that regret, because it hurts the most for just humans, right? Because they think to themselves, let's say they have an opportunity now, and 5 years later they go, holy shit, what if I took on that opportunity? Where would I be now, right? So the summary, it's like this: there are lessons from the most successful business owners. Simplified, I gave that to you. But once again, I've seen guys 2 years in making 15 times more than the guys who are 30 years in, and obviously guys 7 years in about to hit 8-figure turnover versus the guys that are 25 years in and just about to go under. Ultimately, humans hate change, discomfort, and uncertainty, risk, fear, all of that. But it all depends on how you view it, right? It all comes down to you, not someone else. You as a person and how you make your decisions, which reflects onto your business. So if you have any questions, please let me know. If you need any help with getting marketing, sales, business operations for your renovation business, feel free to click the link below and book in a call with me. And again, we can go through the strategy and everything needed to help you grow. But if not, hope you enjoyed the video. Talk soon.